Give you the key when the door wasn't open. Just admit it. See, I gave you faith, turned your doubt into hope. Can't deny it. Now I'm all alone and my joys turn them open. Tell me, where are you now that I need you? Where are you now? Where are you now that I need you? Couldn't find you anywhere. When you broke down, I didn't leave you. I was by your side. So where are you now that I need you? Where are you now that I need you? Where are you now that I need you?
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of Utherverse Live here on X. I am your host, Other Jake, here back with another week with founder and CEO of Utherverse, Brian Shuster. How you doing, Brian?
I'm doing well, Jake. How's it going?
Fantastic, fantastic. Excited for another show, another week of news, good news, and giveaways.
Excellent. Yeah, me too. Me too. It's always fun to give away prizes and talk about everything that's happening. So, um, welcome
Absolutely.
everybody.
Welcome in. We are just filing in. If you're a new listener, first time listener, or you've been here before, we have we give away 3 prizes every week here on the space. The prizes are, um, give me one sec. The prizes are in Uther, our token, and those. Give me one second. Okay, cool. The way you can win those prizes are the following. So, in order to win, we have a third, second, and grand prize. In order to win one of those, you have to do a number of things. Now, you have to make sure you're following Otherverse. You are reposting this space, and you're tagging 3 friends in the comments. This will make you eligible to win one of the 3, and we have a 2x multiplier potential. So if you get picked as a winner and you have $ UTHR in your bio and you're holding Uther token, your prize is automatically 2x multiplied. Excuse
All
me.
right. Well, you got through that
Yeah,
successfully.
my voice is a little shot today. I'm just getting.
Recovered as long as, at least for now. We'll see how much talking you do and how it is by the end of today.
Sure, absolutely. So, with that being said, make sure you tag your friends, tag 3 friends, do all the following, and we will pick winners throughout the space. Oh God, I did it.
Fantastic. Round of applause for Other Jake.
Yes, yes. Where is it? Where is it? Where's the crowd? My splice is okay. You know what? We'll get back to the crowd here. My splice is being funny. There we go.
There we go. Okay.
Thank you, Death Division. We got Death over on the others account here, so we're gonna be doing that from now on.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah.
Yeah.
Very
Oh,
good.
excellent. Excellent. So,
So,
yeah, it's been quite an eventful couple of weeks, as they always are. Um, uh, Making a lot of improvements and optimizations here, in a lot of different areas. One of the things that I guess I wanted to sort of kick off with and really highlight is just what we're doing here with the classic system. We made it under the gun 2 weeks ago, where I was able to announce that Uther has been integrated into classic, and that's going tremendously well. We've been upgrading people. They're paying for their VIP using Uther. And so these systems definitely happy to report that we've expanded the reach. It's not just going to be XAEON, although there's tremendous things happening with XAEON, and I think we're on the cusp of really blowing this thing out properly. And I'm going to talk about that a little bit later in the show. But when it comes to Classic, the community in Classic is growing, and I hate to see the community growing without having exposure to Uther. So that's been a big push. We've got another music festival coming up in a week. We've got some of all your favorite DJs coming back. And this is going to just continue to gain traction and create more and more users for Uther. I'm in discussions with other communities about starting to piggyback on Uther for their projects. So really, sort of uh, taking these things from both directions. We're expanding in all of the areas where we have direct control, and expanding into other areas, and bringing in other communities. And so, I love to see that progress just from the token standpoint, notwithstanding the fact that the community is growing now. And that's also really exciting, because as we've talked about many times, the success of Uther ultimately is this this network effect. The more people have it, the more people are able to use it as the medium of exchange. Essentially, the more social hash rate we get, the social nodes, which are people. So expanding in those directions simultaneously seems like a very promising direction. And it's I suppose we'll also be discussing this later in the show, but it's a very challenging environment for any token, even the majors, even the tier one coins, and until this uncertainty is sort of resolved. In terms of the global stage and the economy and oil prices and all that, I think we're subject to a lot of the same sort of pressures as everyone else. But I was reminded earlier today to reflect on where we started and where we are, and all of the other projects that came up when we really launched, and how none of them really exist anymore. And yet here we are, continuing to make leaps and bounds forward. And that's, I suppose, really a tribute to the community and to my teams here. But ultimately, it reminds me of the early days of the internet, where everybody added a .com to their company name, and it seemed like just an easy way to mint money. And then there was an absolute wipeout, which is pretty much what those .coms that survived the wipeout. Those are the Amazons and the Googles and the Metas that we have today. Apple stock trading down in the pennies a share, but survived to become, one of the top 3 most valuable companies in the world. And I still have that vision, without any sort of concern that we're going to achieve this. And it feels like, okay, this trial by fire, this test where everybody else has pretty much been failing, I mean, we really saw a huge disruption in metaverse with Meta's announcement that they were essentially dropping their teams and pulling out. And opening the door for the company that's doing it right. And as I say, I'll discuss in a little bit that we're on the cusp of really blowing this thing out and
Yeah.
making it come to life the way that we've been discussing.
Yep, beautiful. That's amazing. I just had a thought too. I'm gonna post it up here in a second, but before I do, I want to announce that after this space, we are starting the first the others poker series, and we're building it because it's not ready in Xaeon yet, but we're building it in Discord. So if you want to become a part of the first ever poker tournament for others, it's going to be in the Discord. I'll link it in the bird's nest here shortly.
Yeah, and winning real prizes as
Yep.
just for coming in and playing around. So that's fun. And of course, we ultimately are going to be moving all of these types of things in world. Um, uh,
If you want, we can move on, or we can give it away.
you know what? Let's do it early, and then we'll pick this right back up.
Perfect. Okay, so we always use X Picker for the random giveaways. So third prize winner of the day. Let's get a drum roll here, please. Oh, no drum roll. 1 second. Let's find a drum roll. Let's find our drummer. Definitely got a drum roll there.
Yeah, I'm just checking right now, but it's
Mine's being
not.
funny too. Oh, our drummers. Leave it to the drummers. Okay, there we go. Drum roll, please. Web3 Boy at WEBBOY446. Congratulations, you are the third place winner of the day. It does look like you have $ UTHR in your bio, so please DM us here at Utherverse with your Solana wallet address and proof that you hold the other token, and you will have a 2x multiplied prize for the day. Congratulations.
Well,
I can
congratulations.
say, I can say one thing.
1 second. Well, yes, we'll get to you just momentarily. All right. I inviting some people up here, but we'll get to that segment here shortly.
Okay.
Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and post the giveaway or the this poker tournament in the bird's nest here shortly. But if you want to move to the next subject, Brian, go right ahead.
Well, so we've entered a very interesting time, and that time is basically where, as we really prepare to take everything to the next level, um, I am going through the entire operation of a development that has been slower in some areas than I think that it should have been, and some areas where we can insert new types of development in order to accelerate the offering. Um, I mentioned in the last show, we have some developer, well, our a key developer, the conflict in the Middle East. And I am going to take the next few weeks um, and execute on a full-on audit of the company and optimization. Part of that is we have these enormous assets. We've seen some of these assets in the form of our trademarks that have really done well for us. We've got patent assets. We have assets in multiple areas in software and in sort of trade secret areas that can be leveraged now. And rather than just sort of plugging ahead, as it becomes time really to pull back the curtain and launch to the public with a full-blown marketing campaign and really escalate adoption, I want to make sure that everything is optimized. So I feel really strong about what I've done so far. Made some significant changes and improvements really in the last couple of weeks, and this week in particular. And I think the next couple of weeks we're going to see continued improvement. I mean, I almost want to say it's really putting polish on a lot of areas, and that's going to make everything flow much better. So I don't think we'll be doing the show regularly over the course of the next few weeks. Um, uh, while I'm going through and I don't necessarily want to report on all of the internals, which is going to be a lot of my focus. But when we come back, everything is going to be, I think, in a position that is just going to be surprisingly strong and surprisingly mind blowing. So I'm anticipating a lot of surprises that are going to come out. I've got multiple negotiations ongoing with externals, and I hate teasing it without being able to say it. And it looks like really in April, a lot of this stuff is going to be closing, and a lot of this stuff is going to, we're going to have the working groups set up to be able to accommodate it. I'm really focused on this enormous management contract that we've got on intellectual property stuff that also is really going to accelerate everything with Uther and with the platform, bringing enormous visibility to the company, to the project. I had dealings this morning again with a massive enterprise. And I think when we come back with the next show, I should have these contracts signed and be able to just to start really go into stuff and outline exactly how this is really going to blow out. So I'm excited. It's sort of spring cleaning, as it were, in a sense. Where okay, it's a lot of work. It's not necessarily the work that I find to be the most enjoyable, which is just creative brainstorming. But on the other hand, optimizing and making sure that when I come out and I say this feature is going to be live in 2 weeks, that it's live in 2 weeks, because it's too often where these things get delayed for some reason or another, and it's just like too much clutter. We've got to clear the clutter so that everything is transparent and visible from from the standpoint of management, from the standpoint of um, uh, the coding and development and all of the teams working together. So I guess that's kind of my big my big project here for the month of April.
Yep, yep. It is April. It is spring cleaning for sure. Um, so I selected some people that requested to come up and speak or to ask you questions. So
Yeah.
let's take a segment on that. I know Gabao. I think I know that we had you up first. Did you have a question for Brian?
Oh, I have something to say for you,
Is this
for
regarding
yours.
Otherverse?
Um, what?
And this is regarding Otherverse in the conversation we're having around Brian Schuster and the Otherverse.
Yeah. So
Okay. I don't think that was the case. No problem. On chain Pen, how you doing? You're up with Brian. Did you?
Yeah, good
Good
evening.
evening.
GM.
Morning. Good
Yeah,
morning.
I appreciate the opportunity to speak in this space. This is my first time speaking on this space. I really appreciate. So, I've been following Utherverse for some time, and I want to commend you guys, the community, and the team behind Utherverse. You guys are really doing great. I just want to shout out to you guys. Keep doing the work, and I'm locked in with you guys. I'm also bullish on Utherverse. I'm commending you guys. You guys are doing a great job. Well done.
Thank you so much, buddy. And I think this is a big testament to Brian and his leadership, and you know, um, just blazing the trail for a long time. It looks like Michael. You're into Web3, right? You've been it looks like you're a blockchain copywriter.
Yeah. I'm also a content writer and Web3 analyst. Yeah,
Very cool.
that's my niche.
How long have you been following
Yeah, I
Utherverse?
would like to connect you. What do you say?
How long have you been following along with us here?
Yeah. I've been following up to a month now.
Oh,
Yeah,
nice. Very nice. Yeah.
but yeah,
Yeah. Well, we're happy to
yeah,
have you here.
yeah.
Yeah, wonderful, wonderful to
Yeah,
have you.
I'm
We
happy to have you guys too.
Beautiful. All right. Was that is that all you had to? You have a question for Brian, or is that all you have?
yeah, I think we're all good.
Awesome. Yo, Death, what's up, dude?
I was going to say I have a fair few questions that have been put into the Discord over the week. If we want to send them off to
I don't really
Brian.
have a question.
No problem, but we're gonna move along, but we'll keep you up here. Thanks for being here, Michael. Yeah, Death, go ahead.
Yeah, thank
Yeah,
you.
beautiful. Okay, so first question coming from Mr. JD. Uh, he's wondering what is the latest on getting the UTHR token verified? It has been since last year that Brian was going with an auditor, and he's wondering when we will have an update on that one.
Yeah. So the whole process is pretty well stalled out at this point. We have not been getting, we have not been able to get any response from Dex Tools or from Jupiter. And my sense of this is that um, after I go through and do this company optimization in April, um, one of the agreements that I was alluding to just earlier um, involves bringing on some high-powered Web3 people that would be able to force that through. So, I mean, I'm literally reviewing the agreement like this afternoon, but it is something which we just haven't been able to break through, and I'm quite convinced that this is an issue that is specifically because they have sort of hard and fast rules about um, uh, token contracts. So even though we pass the audits, um, there's no security problems. Um, the way that we had mintability on and the way that we turned it off um, uh, ended up putting us in a boat where I mean what's crazy to me is that they'll authenticate tokens which are clearly fraud scam tokens. Um, and these tokens, which, I roll my eyes. I mean, I literally have been pitched on some of these. I have discussions with the founders. It's very clear that this token is going to go to zero imminently. Um, and they got authenticated, their audits get confirmed. And because of the way that they do the mintability, the token goes to zero. The way that we did it, obviously, we're here years later, and the project is continuing to gain momentum, and yet they won't authenticate the symbol. That's it's a temporary state of affairs, but it's fighting with decentralization is the bottom line. These decentralized tools are coded in are hard coded with rules, and we don't have the influence at this moment to be able to get them to go in and manually fix it. Um, so we sort of ran into a roadblock, but anybody that knows me knows my team. That is never a reason to stop. So we've designed a path around that roadblock. If they had been able to listen to our appeals and going out and getting other audits and everything, then this would be resolved. It's at the end of the day, it's one of the things that I want to fix about Web3, and I may end up after Utherverse is a huge success, coming out. We are still planning on coming out with our own chain, our own layer one, and in our layer one chain, we're going to have all of this decentralization stuff fixed, where it may be the case that something would be a yellow flag on a token, but if the team is doxed, if the company's been around for 20 plus years, there's a track record, there's an explanation, it's sort of smart decentralization, not hard, rigid. We wrote a tool. It no longer serves its function. It's encouraging fraud and discouraging legit tokens. That's the state of affairs right now in my mind. These decentralized tools, I could mint a token tomorrow that I'm going to rug pull. That's going to get a 99 score that's going to have the symbol authenticated, but minting a legitimate utility token that's used in commerce now. I mean, any rational human that actually looks at what's going on would look at our token and say, of course, you're in the top 1% of 1% of legit tokens. I mean, there's locked liquidity, there's use cases, there's thousands of wallet holders, and the numbers keep growing. We continue to expand. I do a weekly show. Like how much more legit do you want something to be? But yet, because it was coded 5 years ago with this hard and fast set of rules, we can't break through to a human. One day I'd love to fix it. There's a lot of things in the world I'd like to fix. Um, uh, I wonder if I'll do that or I'll fix physics first. But that one
No,
still is on my mind a lot. Like, oh God, I have not done any work on that in like 2 years. But
I appreciate that, Brian. That was very well said, and I know a
thank
lot
you.
of people have been wanting that.
Yeah.
Um, there's two more quick ones, and they both
All right.
relate to each other, and then everyone's questions in Discord will be asked for the week. So DJ Bull wants to know: is there an ETA on Utherworld / XAEON making its appearance on Steam? And then Sci-Fi said, "You've put RLC on itch. Will Xeon also be put on itch to help it grow?"
Well, let me take that one first. Xeon will ultimately be put on itch, yes. And there are other platforms that we're working on right now. So, the answer to that is yes, but in order for this to go on itch, I need to get certain development things done and completed on Xeon. And I don't currently have an ETA, but when I come back for the next show, I fully intend to have ETAs on that. As far as Otherworld on Steam, that has turned out to be a much larger problem than we had anticipated. So, reading the tea leaves here, Steam ran into some trouble with intellectual property. And I think facilitating copyright infringement type stuff, although I'm not exactly sure. Um, and the issue, again, reading the tea leaves, because they wouldn't answer us directly. And I think that that probably came from lawyers. I believe that they stopped onboarding any game that has an open system where content could come in um, from web calls. So, in other words, user generated clothing, music streams, video streams, building your own regions inside the in the platform, all of the fun features of Utherverse and Red Light Center and our classic system. Um, those all involve user building and user creation. And I believe that the reason why we have been delayed or, technically rejected on Steam, but I don't think this is a permanent rejection, frankly, is they've got to sort that mess out. Now, I've made offers to remove a lot of these things, but in order to do that, I would have needed to pull my development team to go in and sort of rebuild this version of Otherworld. And I'm going to get that done. But it may end up being one of multiple different variants here. It may have to be more of a game than a clone of classic. And the same thing with XAEON, depending on, I mean, I suppose I can appreciate that if a user could create a shirt of Mickey. Now, I told them this, they can't do this, but I don't know, how firmly they believe it. If a user could come in and create a T-shirt with a Mickey Mouse logo on it, we can screen it, we can stop it. But I think their concern is facilitate. I think, now keep in mind, did not get a definitive answer from them. It was a very legal non-answer answer. But this is my read into it. So take that for what it's worth. User comes in with a T-shirt of Mickey Mouse, runs around and makes a video, posts that video on the web. Disney says, "Hey, that was copyright infringement." We say, "Well, okay, we're protected under Section 230. Give us notice. We remove the content." We can do that, but since Steam is global, I actually think it was an issue where you are deaf in Australia that maybe was preventing them from approving us. So we got all the way through to the final, like, okay, here's a list of questions. And it was very clear at that point to me that the list of questions no longer had anything to do with, well, there's this thing is broken in the game, or we need access to this area so that we can check it out. It was all about copyrights and all about how the community interaction and world ops works. So it seemed like a very targeted, focused matter. Now, having said all of that, with the optimizations that I'm going through and doing this month, I anticipate that we're going to be able to crank out a new version that we can submit. I just, I'm disappointed if users can't generate content, because that's such a powerful and fun. Because really, licensed streamed music for DJs is really a fun aspect. But if that creates this kind of, well, there's an open channel where a DJ could theoretically come in and stream something unlicensed, and that gets a rejection, do I have to kill streaming entirely? And it just seems like such a handicap. But we roll with it. We got up on Twitch. We're going to get up on a number of other competitors to Steam in short order, and I think we'll end up working out a deal with Steam.
Yeah, beautiful. And yeah, you're completely right. There's a lot of interesting parts to that I think a lot of people don't see on the back end. So I think that insight would have helped a fair few people actually understand that because yeah, it probably is Australia. We have pretty horrible laws with the copyright and infringements, and it's yeah, it's rough down here.
Yeah. Well, I remember, I saw like a couple of days after we got this sort of kind of final um, uh, feedback from them that I think they were sued in Australia, but again, I didn't quite pay enough attention to the jurisdiction and what was going on, whether they were actually sued, whether it was a threat of a suit, but. There was some news that crossed my desk that made me go, of course, this is why. This is the problem, and it's not us. And shoot. But God, it's just like everything. I mean, all of these places that have been, dealing with these. I mean, we talked about it on the last show, and um, uh, with the problems with Roblox.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that was the one.
Yep. So yeah, but yeah, unfortunate. I would have loved to have announced that we were live, and but again, one door closes. So on that note, one door opens. Let's give someone some
All
money.
right, all right. I have the next winner picked. With that with that being said, okay. Now that we have the drummer here ready in studio, let's get a drum roll, please. Second place winner is Alex at AlexMercury 99. Congratulations, Alex. You are the second place winner of the day. And you do have Uther in your $ Uther in your bio. So that makes you eligible. Please go ahead and DM us here at Utherverse your Solana wallet address and proof that you hold Uther token, and we will coordinate your prize. Congratulations. Congratulations. And the crowd goes wild. Okay, man.
Fantastic.
Yeah, these are
Yeah.
these are great. I know a lot of people have been having these questions. Is there one more over there, Death?
Oh yeah, there is actually. We got one from Pitch, and this is all Xaeon today, so good. He's wondering how far away are the Xaeons. I'll do word for word. How far away are Xaeon's much touted avatar upgrades?
Yeah. So that's a really good question. Um, I actually do not have an answer for that one at the moment. Um, it's part of exactly my focus on this spring cleaning. Um, I need to be able to confidently come up with timeframes and uh, uh, and have everybody who's listening be able to have confidence that when I give a time frame, that it's going to be hit at least 80% of the time. I mean, I don't expect perfection, but I really don't. But I think that there's too much clutter and too many directions that are pulling teams, from one thing to another. Um, and I need focus. I need competent time estimates. Um, I need, I mean, I see the workflows, and the workflows all look like, okay, this goes from here to there. I get it. I see all of the nuanced things that need to happen. But I need more operational control and direction on all of the specific aspects. So, you know, um, from my standpoint, I like to tout the 80-20 rule. I say it multiple times a week. Um, we have to get stuff out, and then we can get it right. And this is particularly true for something like the new avatars, which I've seen. They're amazing, and I really personally don't care if the clothing doesn't fit perfect. If every piece of clothing doesn't fit the avatars perfectly, we can have bleed through on clothing because the avatar sizing is slightly different, and then a week or two later we can have it all fixed. But I can't wait until everything is perfected if one person ends up being sick, and say, well, okay, I've been talking about this and talking about it, and yet it gets delayed and delayed. It's really, you know, it's part of the challenge of really managing teams, particularly development teams that are competent, and really don't want to put work out that isn't 100%. It's a difficult message to deliver. But on the other hand, if it's got to be 100%, then we need to have a focus, a sprint, and get it out. And these things need to happen. So, what would I say about it? I would say I'm hopeful that it will be in short order. Um, I think a number of things that I'm hopeful are going to be in short order here. But what I really want to do is take the next couple, 3 weeks and figure out why things aren't hitting my timelines and hitting the time estimates, and then circle back around and be able to confidently report on all of these things. So I think everything is going to be delayed a little bit, while I go through and really find out. I mean, we've got a great working group. Things make forward progress, but at this exact moment in time, especially when I've got this enormously valuable project that is taking place. Now is the right time to be able to one last time go through, optimize the company. And so if you can hold on an answer, I mean, I've seen them. I've seen that they're close. It's a question of getting them plugged in and plugged into all the pipelines. And really, I don't think that should take all that long. But you know, a lot of upgrades are sitting in queue, waiting for other interrelated upgrades, and I'm just not convinced that everything should be interrelated like this. I'm pretty nostalgic for the days of when we were really building Classic. And if people remember the days of building Classic, where we would do a patch every Tuesday, like every week, like clockwork, there's a patch on Tuesday. And very often it would end up causing disruption. The old boot monster would come in, and people would, the thing would be unstable. But within a few hours, usually, we have it repaired. And every week you see a little bit of new content, you see a little bit of forward progress. And I know that people using metaverse and using virtual worlds and games are very forgiving. If you shake hands and the fingers don't exactly touch, well, wait until next week, we fix it. But if you're waiting until every single thing works perfectly, then we get patches every 4 or 5 months. And it's just impossible to keep the excitement level up when things have been done for 3 or 4 months, and they're sitting in queue behind something which is still being worked on. And that's really what I'm trying to sort of unbury and fix, so that we get these pipelines really operational. We can be making a lot of quick improvements and changes, and so we'll see. But they're coming. They're coming, and with a bunch of other stuff around it.
Yeah, it's beautiful. There was a question here, but I lost it. Thank you for that, Brian.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. Um, It is exciting stuff. It's taking longer than expected, but it's all forward momentum, like you
Yeah,
said.
I mean, at
Um,
least like the. I mean, it's hard for me to be overly critical because I look at I look at the whole track record of the metaverse space and who still exists in this space. I mean, it's not like everybody was wrong that metaverse is not going to be the next layer of the internet, that it's not going to be the biggest thing that we've ever seen. Um, it's that nobody has been able to execute. I mean, you even see Grand Theft Auto 6
yeah,
can't pull the trigger. And I'm sympathetic with what they're going through because we're going through a lot of the same thing. I liked to believe that our experience in doing this would avoid some of these pitfalls. But it turns out, you really need to manifest that experience, and it needs to come from the top. And I have the experience, and so there's a lot of stuff that I've got to do to make sure that we don't, continue to be delayed. But I mean, with $80 billion, I can guarantee you. Uh, we would have been successful where Meta failed. Um, and the landscape being opened up like that, it has really remotivated me to get this out and get it done um, in a way where I mean, the key feature developments are these new avatars, um, the in-world economy, so that you can shop, you can buy clothing, you have an inventory system, distributed content, so you're downloading the browser in 2 minutes and just like a real browser, you don't need to call animations and textures and whatnot from inside the browser. You're calling it from any location on the web. And then letting people have their own metaverses and their own spaces and being able to build and create and charge. The events system, being able to schedule events and being able to control the multimedia and being able to sell things. And, at that point, we can have the trade shows that we're so expert at. We can have fashion shows. We can have, movie production can come in to the space. We can add these AI companions. So you've got your AI concierge and your event planner, and your basically life coach inside. All of these things become unlocked, and uh, it's just got to accelerate.
very good. Yes, it does. It's time. It's that time,
Yep.
Brian. Forgive me, guys. My voice is so shot today, man. I'm going through this cold. I went to Florida for my cousin's wedding, and on the way back, we all just got sick. And I thought I was over the hill, and then I woke up with no voice today. So, forgive me, y'all. I sound like I'm going through puberty here. So we have. Let's see. I'm gonna bring up one more person to ask a question, if that's okay with you,
Yeah,
Brian.
sure. Then maybe I'll wrap up with a little talk about intellectual property and artificial intelligence.
Great, great. Okay. All right. So, Death, you got something for us?
Oh, you can run your bit. I was just going to let people know that 15 minutes, or pretty much 15 minutes until poker starts. So join the Discord, jump in the announcements, find the link, sign up. It'll be just right there. Also, I just want to let people know it is free to join. You don't have to pay to join, but you can win real UTHR. So if you want a chance to win some UTHR for free, this poker tournament's a great option. It's free.
All
It's
in.
free.
Oh boy. I mean,
Thank.
I used to make withdrawals from the casino when I lived in Nevada. It was the craps tournaments that Harrah's Casino would run, and you know, yeah, a free poker tournament where you can win real money. That is definitely worth checking out.
Well, you'll see some familiar faces over there. I brought up James. James, you are a speaker now here with on Otherverse Live with Brian. Did you have a question? Let's see. Your name is Ayov09156. James.
Hello, Modibu.
Hi. Do you have a question for us? Welcome up.
Yeah, I have a question.
Okay. What's your question?
Okay, my question is if any if anything stop today, like if anything stop today, no hyping, no marketing, what will still make your project worth believe in?
Did you catch that?
Yeah,
No, I
I
didn't.
did. So he's saying if all the marketing and all the hype stopped today, what would you still make of the project? Like, what would it still become if there was no marketing, no hype behind it?
Yeah. Um, there are so many aspects to the company that are moving mountains. Um, there's just a gravitational attraction through word of mouth already. Um, almost a lead into the topic that I wanted to talk about, which is um, this deal that we're entering into for real world asset tokenization of AI patents. Um, but the organic attention, let's say, that's going to happen when we have fully launched, even without any marketing. The thing is, if you think back to successful disruptive ventures, they at the end of the day, marketing can help, but the internet is the best example. There was no marketing of the internet; nobody owned it, but people started to find it, um, and a core group started to use it and exploit all of the value um, that came from this interconnectivity. And within a couple of years, well, really within a few months of me launching out banner ads, the first banner ad system on the internet, the internet exploded. I mean, suddenly there was money available to be earned, and everybody, I mean, there was a scramble to get people online, and then every company started changing their name to, so and so.com. And the .com organic marketing, I mean, nobody was behind it, but the value that created for the .com commercial domain name on the one hand, and the internet on the other hand, I mean, that just became crazy. If you think then a little bit later about MySpace, MySpace didn't do any marketing, right? It was users found it. Again, users found it to be fun and to be able to connect with each other. And they went out and they talked to their friends. You haven't been on it? And I mean, I remember when MySpace first sort of went into the public vernacular, I heard about it from somebody. What the hell? I heard about it from somebody else, and then a couple of nights later, Jay Leno was talking about it. And within a week, like literally every person I knew had a MySpace account. And you see sort of the same thing replicated with Facebook, and Facebook turned on games, and Farmville went up on Facebook, and Farmville just had a little like click here to share your progress, um, and Facebook exploded and became an absolute monster. And it's really the same thing here. Xaeon is not at the point where it has that kind of virality, that kind of built-in compulsion for people to need to be on it. But when the correct features are in place, and that's really what I'm all about this month is, figuring out how to replumb everything. When all of the right features are in place, um, then it takes off in the same kind of way. And that's where, it's almost like a binary switch. Until that happens, we're here. Once it happens, we're on the other side. And it's going to happen very, very rapidly when we're able to get the features in place. So, whatever it takes to get from here to there. And part of what it's going to take, and I'll just wrap up with this. Part of what that's going to take, I am a named inventor on a suite of early patents in the AI space. And we are in the final steps of putting together a management agreement for a new real world asset tokenization platform that is going to be tokenizing intellectual property, fractionalizing ownership of patents, um, and making those fractional ownership tokens available. It's a fantastic business model, a fantastic business plan. It's going to have me doing all kinds of influencer events, going to all kinds of conferences under the Utherverse brand, and discussing Utherverse in conjunction with our management of this real world asset tokenization platform. It's going to drive an enormous amount of attention. It's going to get Otherverse in front of all kinds of eyeballs that we couldn't otherwise get in front of. Um, you'll probably hear more about it because we're going to be discussing it on a variety of channels. It's really potentially the biggest deal that I've ever done, that Otherverse has ever done. And I think this is going to be a whole new breath of life into, in terms of our firepower to be able to move Uther forward in a major way, and ideally, move the platform forward for XAEON, for Classic, build the community. I'm really excited because I've been approached multiple times in the past with these kind of tokenization plans for patents, but nothing like this has ever surfaced before. Every prior iteration of this kind of patent coin idea failed, and it failed for for reasons that I was able to point out to the people that were pitching it to me to come on board. But this one it has all of the problems solved, and it's not tokenization of something like underground gold or tokenization of something like um, uh, uh, you know a fiat currency. Um, this is tokenization of valuable intellectual property, and this is going to be the first of many valuable intellectual property that has, in the form of patents, it's difficult to unlock the real value. Um, and that's been a problem with patents for decades, where it's very expensive to enforce your rights. But through tokenization and fractionalized ownership, it becomes it's a key to being able to unlock essentially 100% of the value of the patents. And what I really love about this, the assessment of the value of these patents from any of the AI systems. Well, I'll be sharing that, but everybody's going to be mind blown when you see how valuable these patents are and this portfolio and why it is that I'm so excited about this pending deal and the pending launch of this thing. So stay tuned for that because it's going to be a whole other uh, uh, division and a whole other opportunity and a whole other um, uh, value add to Uther that's coming imminently.
Beautiful, beautiful. Sorry, I was late to the trigger on my mic here. Well, yeah, that's very exciting. And we will be talking about that at the next event, which will be to be determined. The way we'll do that is it will probably be in the next couple weeks or so, not until the next couple weeks or so or a month. But once we're back, and we'll have a lot more updates for you. So keep a lookout on X, on Discord, on Telegram for the next space because it's going to be a big one, and I'm sure we'll have some even bigger giveaways to give away to celebrate.
Yeah, definitely, definitely.
But with that being said, speaking of giveaways, we have the grand prize winner here, and the grand prize winner is drum roll, please. Oh, wrong drum roll. Success TBD. SUCCESS TBD. Congratulations, you are the grand prize winner. This is actually a cool one because it's a longtime community member. Congratulations, Success. Please go ahead and DM us here at Utherverse your Solana wallet and proof that you own Uther, because I do see the $ UTHR in your bio. Congratulations, you are the grand prize winner of the day. Congratulations.
Fantastic. Check out Classic. We've got next week is our next music festival, and that's the Easter Ecstasy Festival. And if you want to come in, be VIP, you can do that with Uther and help circulate the token, increasing volume. Everything is always good for the token when it gets used.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. Very good. And we're about to start the poker tournament in Discord. So link is in our bio here at Otherverse for our Discord. Go ahead and join us. It's free to join, and you can also win some real Uther there as well if you didn't today. So congratulations to the winners. And Brian, thank you so much for your time,
Thanks,
and Def
Jake.
as well.
Feel better. Thanks, Deb.
Yep.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you. Thank you. And you know what? If anyone that still has questions, we will answer them and when we come back for the next one. Be good, y'all. Thank you so much. Have a great week, and we'll see you soon. We'll see you over actually in poker right now.
Gave you the key when the door wasn't open. Just admit it. See, I gave you faith, turned your doubt into open. Can't deny it. Now I'm all alone and my joys turn them open. Tell me.